Hey guys, thanks for watching. A question I get asked often by many of you is what camera and kit should I have as a beginner? And I thought the best way to answer that question is actually to review the first camera I chose as a beginner and why I chose it. Now, this video and several after it are aimed at you as a beginner, and they should be a full resource as you start out your journey. So tune in every Monday and Thursday for more content geared for you. So, the first camera I used was a Nikon D7000, and here it is. Why I chose this camera was because, first and foremost, it's really well priced. To get it brand new off Amazon, it costs about $47,000, and I'll provide a link in the description box below. The D7000 also has really good management in low light situations. What does that mean? When you're shooting in a dark place, maybe a nighttime event or a wedding that's gone into the evening, you can take pictures and it won't have too much noise. Noise is that graininess you see in your pictures. And I'll provide a video explaining it a bit later on. The second thing I really liked about the Nikon D7000 is its memory card slots. It has 2 memory card slots. And this is where you put your memory cards. I have some here. So here we go. Here are the memory cards. And it has 2 slots for them, which means you can store double the amount of pictures you normally would with other cameras. I think Nikon started to include this in most of its cameras. Something to note about memory cards is that they vary in several ways. They can vary in size and they can vary in the class that they are. And I'm going to do a video a bit later on to explain the difference between the two. But for now, this card is a class 10 card, and you can see that by the 10 over here with a circle around it. And this card over here is a class 4 card, and you can see it with a 4 with a circle around it. And the difference is the number of images that the card can record if they're shot one after the other. So let's say you're shooting a race and you have, it's a 100-meter race and it's 9 seconds to the finish line. So you have 9 seconds to get maybe 10 or 20 pictures. So you're going to really press your shutter really fast. You're going to burst your shutter. And with a class 10 card, it will be able to record all those images without taking a break. Whereas with a class 4, you're going to take maybe 5 or 6 images. It will need a break to record those images onto the card, and then you can start shooting again. So that's a basic difference between the two. So back to the Nikon D7000. One of the other things I really liked about the Nikon was its battery power. And here's a battery that it uses. I found that with this battery, I can actually go for a full day shooting, and a full day could be like a wedding, where I'm really using the battery a lot, inclusive of looking at pictures in the display on the camera. So these go for about $50 on Amazon. The camera comes with one, but if you wanted to buy another one, which I'd recommend, $50 on Amazon. Your camera kit will also come with a charger for your battery. And all you need to do to charge it is to stick the battery in there and plug it into the socket. This is an American plug, but if you buy your gear from the UK or anywhere else that uses British power, you should be able to get a plug that goes directly into our sockets. British power? British power. I don't know what it's called. Okay. Your camera will also come with a lens. So one thing to mention is that you can buy the camera as the body only, which is how it looks now. There's no lens mounted on it. Or you can buy it with a kit lens, and that usually is the 18 to 55 millimeter lens. That's a nice lens because it's very wide. The truth about shooting in Kenya is that there's very small spaces. There's small rooms, you'll be working in squished conditions. And so that lens is really wide, so you can actually get a wide view of the room you're in without necessarily having to move back. But if you buy the camera body only, the lens I'd actually recommend that you get is the 35 millimeter lens. This is a 1.8 lens, and I'll explain what that means later on. But basically, why I like this lens, which costs about $20,000 on Amazon, is because it shows you exactly what your eyes see, the same distance as your eyes see, on a cropped sensor camera. Again, I'll explain that later. It's also really crisp and sharp. It's much more crisp than the 18 to 55. So the one disadvantage is you're going to have to zoom with your feet. You're going to have to keep moving forward and back as you shoot with this lens, but that's a small price to pay for crispier, sharper pictures, which is what I get asked about a lot. People always wonder why I have sharp pictures, and this is half the secret. The last thing when you're buying your first camera is you need a good bag for it. As photographers, we move around a lot. and you want to protect your gear because you're going to spend a lot of money buying your gear, this is a Case Logic bag. It has a beautiful orange inside. I like colors. Basically, it's a bag that's very thick. It has very thick padding on it so that if you put your bag down with some force, you wouldn't damage the camera that's inside. It goes for about $40 on Amazon. Yeah, and it's a good investment. It's an investment in protecting your gear. Thanks guys for watching. I really do appreciate you taking the time to view this video. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is meant to be a learning resource for any beginners out there. Everything I've mentioned in the video is going to be listed in the description box below, so you can find links on where to buy gear and all the other stuff I've talked about. If you've not subscribed to my channel, you can subscribe right here, or you can click the red subscribe button in the link below. If you like this video, you can go ahead and give it a thumbs up, or you can connect with me in the comment section below or on my Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, or off my website www.tandirimuro.com. And you can find that all on the description box below. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.